In this video, we're going to talk about fiber meshes, so how to create hair and fur and similar effects, and then using the Groom brushes to brush a little bit and to change the position of those fiber meshes. You can see here we have a whole set of Groom brushes that we already saw before, but we're gonna apply in this video to the fiber meshes. Now, fiber meshes are essentially a repetition of many copies of a really long and really long mesh that is gonna look like a fiber. So fiber means that it's gonna be something really tiny. So this is another like detail brush. So this is another detail effect that we can apply to ZBrush. So we saw in the previous videos, we started to talk about getting in smaller and smaller details. Well, this is another effect that we can use. And we can use the best preview rendering. Well, actually, we need to use the best preview rendering in order to see the fiber mesh. So you cannot just see those on the standard view. And so you can see there, you can go to the render settings and do fast a preview or a best rendering, and that's going to show you again the effect of the fiber meshes. So you can see now it looks better. So but in this visualization we can brush them, we can change the position of those and work with those. Now in the lightbox you can see in the projects folder we have an entire fiber mesh folder. So if you want to see here what we're going to talk about, you can open the same file as I did, or you have here other scenes that you can use. You can also use the fiber meshes by noise. So it means that you can use the noise maker or the noise effect to distribute the fiber mesh on your surface. So we talk about how to apply noise, superficial noise effects and noise maker in different ways, and like we use that the opposite way. We create a mask and then we apply the noise on the on part of the subject. Here you can see that with the noise and all of the details and also some defects and like a burned part of the character and scars and wrinkles and little defects of the skin. By applying all these tiny details, you will increase the realism or the overall model quality. So you can continue on that. And we also applied some facial hairs like bird and mustache. So you can do that by just sculpting and painting, or you can do that using fiber meshes depending on the complexity of the model. Now in the previous video we also talked about apparel again and clothing design and applying like really tiny details like seams, or you can see here I've applied some like dots using the bolts or screws using the lazy mouse effect or the lazy mouse feature in the brush. So we experiment a little bit more with the different brushes, and with the alpha you can apply the alpha to use this like veins effect or wrinkle effect or hair effect. So you can really do a lot of things just by using the brush, setting up the brush, using the brush panel. You can click there on the arrows on the left to open up the brush panel, or you can open up the alpha panel or the stroke panel. And if you set all those things, you can see here you have like a lot of parameters that you can try to customize. So by doing that, you can then create your custom insert mesh, you can create your custom brush, you can create also your nano mesh, and we're gonna see that in the end of the video. So how to create MicroMesh, NanoMesh, MicroPoly, and so on. Now here you can see again how many settings you have for the brush. You can define the depth. You can define also the gravity. Gravity is gonna like make things fall down. So we're gonna see that again later on. Also with dynamics, you can use gravity. So you have a lot of things to go through here. If you want, you can adjust and customize your brush, your alpha, and again, we saw also how to adjust the stroke to get the lazy mouse effect. And you can also create your like left side shelf, so you can use all these uh, whenever you want. And in the stroke, again, we use lazy mouse, but we also have other features that you can explore, you can experiment with. So we are going through all the most important features and tools of ZBrush. We talked about how you can again apply a lot of details with the alpha together with like drag rectangle or the drag spot. And when you're ready, when you create your custom brush, you can always save it. So in my case, I create a folder here and I call these brushes, so there I can like save all my custom brushes. For example, I created something for the wrinkles and for the veins, and for all those really tiny details that I want to apply. So you can see here, once the brush is saved, I can always reuse it and just recall it, open it up, and apply the veins. And just by designing here with the drag rectangle the size, I can apply like veins on the skull, on the arms, on the body. And you can also use veins when you need to just paint. So if you need like to paint superficial veins, you can do that using the combination of the painting and the sculpting. But we're going to talk about painting in the following videos. We're going to concentrate in this one on adding more and more details and to the clothing, to the hair and fur. And so we're going to concentrate on this, and later on we're going to come back into painting and see some advanced features and increase the detailing also on the painting. Now, of course, when you're ready to run a BPR rendering, which is going to show you the mesh and a little bit of shadows like ambient occlusion and a little bit of lighting. But if you want to see some extra quality, remember, go to render, change from preview to best. And again, we're going to talk about rendering also later on, and lighting, and how to set up a little bit the materials, the lights and the background and so on. So this is just, just to make a quick check of what you're doing and if it's actually looking good also in the rendering. So we're going to talk about fiber meshes, groom brushes, and also really important features to create like repetition of a particular object. You can do that with arrays. So you can use array, or you can use nanomeshes and micromeshes and MicroPoly. But again, if you go in the project here, you can open up FiberMesh. You also have these nanomeshes examples just to see that it's pretty similar, so that they all look pretty similar in terms of what they will do. They will essentially get all the faces of your model and apply something onto that face, essentially. So it could be a fiber, could be like a really tiny element, could be a tube, could be a noodle, could be whatever, a circle, or you can also create like a chainmail. So you can really create fine textures and things like that. So we're gonna go here into NanoMesh later. You will find it in the tool shelf, and you can see there, if I click on edit mesh, I can actually see that mesh that has been repeated onto this surface. For each polygon of that surface, we can apply one or more. Actually, we can also repeat more and like duplicate and multiply more that, and also change the size, adjust the width, adjust the length, adjust the rotation. And we can do something more like schematic, and we can do something more randomized depending again on the parameters. And again, we can work with gravity, kind of gravity effect, by bending the airs or the elements that we are multiplying using these tools, and make it look more like affected by gravity or less, depending again what it's our